Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, people. Back again. Peace to the gods, peace to the goddesses, as you Sef say. This video, man, is about uh, uh, the differences with public and private. In my elaboration, to make it short, right? Um, for me, what I've learned, the reason why I commented earlier about Yusuf, because salute to him, man, because this guy here, he's what I like about him is that he's thorough, first of all, and I like that he's going to show you laws that is meaningful for the task at hand. And I understand why he gets upset and stuff like that because people take these subjects and do what they want with them and try to make it their own and then say they created something. What have I noticed over the time that I've been doing uh, this process? It's been different outlooks of things. Everybody has their own opinions, not a lot of respecting opinions. Again, like I mentioned before, I'm a type of guy that I respect all opinions and comments uh, when it comes to this private stuff. Okay, Yusef again. Like I say, I salute him. He gives a lot of knowledge. I don't really follow his process, but he's a native of my city, so and it's not that I'm doing it respecting his knowledge because he's from my city. I'm just speaking up and the reason why he feels the way he does. Yes, some people could say, "Oh, he's arrogant." He's no, the man just knows what he's doing. Okay, so if you follow yourself, most likely what you're gonna get is the thoroughness, and you're gonna get um, straightforward attitudes, no sugarcoat nothing. He's trying to teach something, and I understand the frustration behind his teachings because again, one thing that I've noticed the same, throughout my journey of becoming private is that people tend to ask questions, yes, because they don't know, but they'll take it and try to make it their own, and try to, test you on what you know. Listen, this for me, all this information I hear is a learning experience from everybody. It's some things not true, yes, and is it some things that is true, yes. Okay, a lot of people are being misled on what is public and what is private. Okay, first of all, if you in the public, you're dealing with criminal law, international law, Roman law, military law. You're considered an enemy of the government. So a person might say, well, what do you mean we're enemy? Well, to them, you're considered an enemy, but they got you thinking that you're free. They got you thinking, you know, that everything is all good when everything is not all good. Just because you ride around in the car that you want, that you go out and get credit for, just because you got the house you want, you think it's all good, but it's not. Okay, because everything that you do, of course, they have a lien on everything that you do, right? Really means they control you, period, in a way. I'm just trying to give the simplest way for somebody to understand how this goes. In the public, again, like Yusef says, and I agree with him. And the reason why I'm going to cite to him because he's like one of the ones that I know that will give it to you raw and show you the law on it. And I understand the frustration because people see the law and still want to carry it the way they want to carry it. Okay. So what I mean by that is that, and I'm gonna give you this later. We'll talk about it later. But back to subject. The public, if you go into a courtroom, you're considered an enemy. People say, how I'm considered. What do they ask you when you go in the courtroom? What is arraignment? First of all, when you get arraigned, first thing they ask you, what is state your name for the record? What does record for the record mean? That means you are being recorded by a court reporter, right? So you state your name for the record. They got you right there. They got you right there. This is public, right? So if you go into a courtroom, if you ever go into a courtroom and you look at the golden tassels around the flags, every flag don't have them, but if you look at the flags that have gold tassels around it, fringes, whatever you want to call them, that means you're under military law, Roman law. Do anybody know that Rome runs all this stuff? Rome runs everything. Why do you always see pictures of Catholic Roman stuff when it comes to saying who's corrupting this and doing that? Because they control everything. Okay? So they control the United States. Period. That's who run this stuff. Okay? So when you're dealing with public law, you're dealing with 65 statutes and codes. When you're dealing in the private, you're dealing with 20 maxims, equity law. Okay? How many people heard of equity law? Not many people, because they don't go into talking about equity law. We just go as far as just talking about private, but under equity law trumps everything, if you don't know. Right? So what they call private law, many call it natural law. Okay? But I always say God's law, so you understand. Laws of the land. When I speak, I say laws of the land, because that means that's how we're supposed to be living, as laws of the land. The only thing that you're not, the only time you can get into trouble if you damage property or you kill someone, murder someone, that law still stands on both sides. Understand that. Okay. And a lot of it's Christianity. Well, I'm gonna say spiritual, because in the Bible, you have more. It's really spiritual. The Bible is spiritual. It's not religion. They only talk about religion in the Bible, oh so much. But every verse is spiritual. Everything's spiritual, people, because it's about spirituality. So when then the public is called the positive law, like YU Sef, he talks about that, but that's a man-made law, which is like the fictitious world. Matter of fact, I'm wearing the fictitious world, right? Shirt. I love the Matrix, right? I love the Matrix movie, not the Matrix. The fictitious world we live in, right? That's the fictitious world. If you watch the movie Matrix, they give you all the game you want to know from the beginning to the end, right? It's so many movies out here that give you game that a lot of us don't even recognize game when we see it. Another movie, John Wick, is about public and private. If you go watch John Wick, all he uses gold coins. He burns money. It's public and private. They giving it to you in front of your face, right? You have to see these movies for what they are. Slow it down, watch, pay attention. Not just watch it, pay attention to the movies. Because they put a lot of true stuff in the movies. That's what they do, so they can make it seem like it's fictional. But John Wick was living in private. You see, when the officers come to his door, they look in his door. He got dead bodies laying in the thing. He said, "Oh, everything's okay here," and they closed it. They knew who John Wick was. He was protecting his home. Now, if it was outside his home, then he might have probably got looked at. But it was inside his home. It's private, right? Yeah, dead bodies in his home. They know he's a private person. And guess what they do? They look and they say, "Okay, have another day." And he closed the door on him. Called a private cleanup company, cleanup crew. That's private. He operated in the private, and they knew it. Gold coins, he do not use money. He did not use money, not one time. So I call them tokens in the movie. Go watch the movie. He used gold coins in every one of them. Every one of them. Okay? Remind you, this is the same guy that played in the Matrix too. Right? That's the same guy that played in the Matrix too. So he's with that. He's with that. I mean, personally, I don't know if he's with that, but I'm saying he's playing the role of that. So he must know a little something. He must know he got educated a little something. Okay, so back to what I'm saying. Okay, now when you operate in private, man, it's private. Even when you have to carry yourself privately. You know what I mean? Everything doesn't have to be put in the public. Everything. What I mean is, you don't do nothing in public. Like I'm talking about signing paperwork. If you do sign, the process of what I do is when I'm because I'm in private. So if I sign any documents, any government documents that must be signed, I know they know when I sign it. When I sign it, who I am, because that's not ordinary signature, right? They don't, and a lot of things we don't sign because we don't consent to it either. So you avoid those. But if it's something that you must sign, like if we filling out an SS5 form because you're the beneficiary of that Social Security card, you sign it a different way. You don't sign it with your regular signature and stuff like that. That's you getting away from, excuse me, people. I got to adjust the thing again. So that's you getting away from the public and letting them know that you're away from the public. You're separate from the public, right? So being in the public, you do taxes, phone getting adjusted again. Sorry, people. So adjust this real quick. Okay, so what happens is when you in the public, you pay taxes, you do tax forms. Like again, the reason why you pay taxes is, and I agree with you, Sef, is because you're getting benefits from them, right? You get benefits from them, so they make you pay taxes for those benefits. I'm trying to put this in the simplest form for people to understand the difference between public and private. Okay, if you private, okay, if you public, you can be summoned to court, right? You can be summoned to court on both sides. But if you do have to go to court as a private citizen, it's ways to abate that. When you go, you have to know how to handle the court when you're going to court. You don't use lawyers, public defenders, or whatever you want to call it. If you're in the public, you use lawyers, public defenders, however you want to call it. That's the difference. If you was in the courtroom as a private citizen, we call it abatement, meaning that you have your documents showing who you are. They ask you for the record who you are. You tell them for the record who you are. And guess what they do? They're going to either set something off and never get back with you. After 2 years, they completely throw it out. Yeah, you'll be wondering why they ain't got back with you. Just chill out. That's their sign to let you know, you don't worry about it. We're not messing with you, right? But what we'll do is call them. We'll be See, this is what I mean. As a private citizen, you do not do stuff like things like this. You'll call them, hey, I thought I was supposed to, when are you going to set another court date for me? You told me you were going to. See, that's what you get wrong. We don't do that as private citizens. We don't call and bother them. Leave them alone. They don't supposed to be bothering you, but you leave them where they at. Those are signs of them telling you, we're not going to tell you you won. You have to recognize you won, right? That's what we do as real private citizens. We know how to abate arraignment. Public, you can't abate. How you going to abate? You don't, first of all, you don't have your documents. Second of all, you're going to go as planned what they say, right? That's the difference. I'm just giving you what's the difference in form. Like, I'm not going to give you laws. I'm telling you it's laws. Yes, I know the laws. But what I try to do is I try to give the person what I get from my mentor, right? In simplest form, yes. Does he use words? Big words? Yes, he used big words. But I'm giving it to you in simplest form of what public and private mean. Examples of what we do and what we don't do, right? So you'll understand better. Because we can throw all the sui juris and stuff like that out there, and people don't understand what we're talking about. You see what I'm saying? So you have to give those examples and understandings, right? So to comment on Yusef again, man, that's a good dude. I caught the video earlier in the group, and many people was, I don't like that guy. And why? I'm gonna tell you why people don't like that guy. Why? Because he's gonna give it to you raw, and he's gonna give it to you real. Yeah, I understand some people can't stand arrogant people or so-called arrogant people. It's just him expressing his feelings about how people are moving, and he's taking the time out of his day and weeks and hours of the day trying to get stuff ready for you to learn and stuff like this. And he, of course, yes, he don't like crazy comments, crazy questions when he's told you over and over again. And that's understandable. That's being human. He's human. He's a man. So, but he's good at expressing himself and letting you know, excuse me, let me get this back up. It letting you know that, letting you know how to do things the right way and not be naive about things too. Again, everybody has a different process in this public and private stuff. You just have to understand what it means to be private. You have to understand what it means to be public. You can't mix the two. We all have our judgments on what is commingling and stuff like that. You have to understand what really commingling is. What is the concept of what you're doing when you're doing something, right? So when like I say, when I posted up my ID, my driving license with the way I signed it on the group, the very first time I kind of even introduced myself, like as just putting something out there, I got a lot of feedback. That's hey, you're dipping in commerce, you're common law. Let me explain that. What I meant by what I said a while ago by the concept. First of all, a guy that operates a commercial vehicle must have a commercial driving license to operate in commerce, right? Okay, listen to what I said. You must have a commercial driving license to drive a commercial vehicle crossing state lines, right? As a sole beneficiary of that cap's name, I have use of that driver license. I have right to it. You see what I mean? When it comes to rights and stuff, you have to put yourself in position to have rights to do something, right? So when you talking about commingling, there's no such thing as commingling when you have use of rights to. How's it commingling? That is not commingling. The all caps operates the commerce. You have use of it. So do anybody understand what I mean when I say the difference in commingling and use of? You have use of. Those are two different things. So if you, again, you don't have to have a driver license if you don't want a driver license. But a person that operates a commercial vehicle must have one. It's in the laws. You must have one. There's the only people that must have a license to operate a commercial vehicle, to operate a vehicle, period. Right? I'm just the beneficiary, sole beneficiary and agent of that, all caps, that operates that vehicle. So if I'm driving the vehicle down the road and I get stopped and the police say, hey, let me see your license to drive this commercial vehicle, you give him the commercial vehicle. He sees your signature. He knows who you are. It's already in the system. This is why you notify people who you are, because you're going to be in the system saying who you are. You're just not doing documents and saying who you are, and they don't change your status in the system. They change your status in the system. I said it in my last video. Example, going to the Social Security Administration office. Lady, type your name in, look, and say, oh, status change. All I said was yes. Want to know why? Because you've seen it already. But I don't know what I'm talking about, though. But these are the experiences that I encountered. These are my experiences. I can only tell you my experiences. I can't tell you somebody else's experiences. Just like we can get on here and we can argue about or have differences about if somebody knows something or not, and I'm not explaining. But this is why I'm making these videos now, so I can explain myself and tell you what I mean, because texting don't really help sometimes, because you got ignorant people. Like I don't know the guy. I know the guy's name, but I'm not gonna put his name out there. But this is not targeting either. So I want to let you know this is not targeting. What kills me is that people always want to jump on your comments and tell you what is wrong with what you're saying, but they're not giving you no feedback on what they mean, what's wrong. Tell me why something is right. You asking me that, but you're not giving that. You're not giving that, but I'm giving it to you in my videos. I haven't seen not one video of you explaining what you're talking about. You haven't explained nothing to me about what you mean about the promissory notes. I have gave you examples of the promissory notes. It should be showing up soon if it ain't already showing. The examples of what I mean in the documents that says these things. See, that's what I like about YU Sef and my mentor. That when they talk about something, they show proof of that. So when we so don't get this confused. I did say we don't have to show proof because it's private, but what I'm saying, show proof of what you're saying is wrong. Show the laws. That's what I mean. Show what you really showing. You saying, oh, you can do promissory notes. We can do promissory. We cannot, man. We cannot do promissory notes, peoples and private citizens. They don't respect that. You can try that all day. That's only for financial institutions to do. That is not for us. All you got to do is look at all the personal loans, payday loans that you get. They the only one give you promissory notes. You cannot give them people promissory notes. They give it to you and you sign. You don't sign and make up shit and give it to them and tell them that, hey, listen, I promise to pay that $250 back. No, they give it to you. They make the rules up. You don't make no rules and give it to them. You the enemy. You the enemy. Right? They want their money. So public and private, you got to know which side you really want to be on. Again, public people do not move in the manner of private. Private do not move in the manner of the public. Right? First of all, public don't know much about the private. Right? What I think what's happening here is that people in the public that want to be private, they try to find shortcuts and say you can do certain things as a public person but call yourself private. That does not work, people. That does not work at all. Right? It's a lot of information that I do know that I haven't spoken about, and like I say, I like to save some of these subjects for a later date so somebody can watch and understand and stuff like that. And I'll be doing more of that. So I just want to elaborate on the difference between public and private. It's a lot more to it. I just want to give an example. What's the difference and stuff like that. Like I say, private, of course, for me, is being free and living like a free man that you're supposed to be, or free woman, but it's actually called free man, or for both woman and man. But I say free woman too. So, but being in the public, of course, you have all kind of laws you gotta follow and stuff like that. And all I gotta do is follow 20 maxims. If y'all want to go read up on what a true private citizen, go by equity law and stuff like that. True private citizens do that, right? We under equity law. We not under which is, you can call it natural law. You can call it natural law too, like you Sef said. He try to make it simple for you and stuff like that, but it's deeper. It's equity law. The 20 maxims, that's what we go by. That's our laws. If you ever heard of suits and chancery, you will understand what I'm talking about. It's about equity. Equity trumps everything. Trumps everything. Go read it. I'm not just talking. Go type in 20 maxims. Go type in suits of chancery and read that shit. We do bill of exchange. We don't do promissory notes, people. Somebody asked me. This is going to be another subject on bill of exchange later, right? I just want to give a little spiel, though. Bill of exchange, yes, it's still irrelevant. You have to put yourself in position to use those. You just can't go use them. You have to use them the right way. When you use bill of exchange, I can tell you right now, somebody will say how to use bill of exchange in the wrong way. See, I'm going to give you a little spiel about that. Bill of exchange, even though I talked about it a little bit in my video, bill of exchange is only for private people. They can use those. U.S. citizen can't use those. So don't get it twisted thinking that's that shortcut. That's that shortcut I'm talking about. You wanna straddle the fence. I'm a private citizen, but I'm gonna use this, or I'm gonna do public stuff and I'm gonna do this on the private side. You can't. If you don't have these people on notice, number one thing, you cannot do no bill of exchanges. Just know that. So don't try to be saying you're a private citizen just because you saying you got a trust and all this kind of stuff, and then you say, I'm going to do a bill of exchange. Not going to work. Do you even know where to operate a bill of exchange and how it operates? Do you even know how to put together a bill of exchange? Do you even know how to do that stuff? The only thing you can do, and he made a comment, somebody made a comment in the group too when I mentioned it. Oh, is it still relevant? Yes, it's still irrelevant. The reason why you don't believe it's still irrelevant because you don't know the procedures to get it, make it relevant for you to use it. Right? So you have to understand what a bill of exchange is. I will get to that. I'm gonna have another video on that. And why it's used for educational purposes. Right? I'm gonna have all the laws and everything. I can read it to you and then show it to you. And can nobody sit and tell me I'm just saying stuff. I'm not just saying stuff. It's true shit. While you over there doing 1099As and all that kind of stuff and getting rejected, and 1099 OIDs and getting rejected, you should be over here doing this. If you all private citizens, you're supposed to be doing bill of exchange, not 1099 OIDs. Those are IRS forms. We don't do IRS forms. And like you said, which is true, that's how you will pull yourself back into commerce and be on the public side by fucking with them damn forms. While I'm over here take care of my own file. See, okay, I'm gonna give you for instance, you're asking somebody to do something for you. This is public and private. I'm gonna give you an example. Easy. This is public and private. Public, you doing them forms, right? Because you're not private. If you're doing 1099As and 1099 OIDs, that is public. And guess what you're doing? You're telling them you're not private. This is why they get you. But you said you was private. Especially if you notify them that you are private, this is what they're going to do. They're going to say, you said you was private, so why are you doing 1099 OIDs? But somebody want to argue with me and tell me I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. That is pulling yourself back into commerce, bro. IRS is public, not private. YU Sef said it. He showed you the law. This is why I respect him, and I applaud and salute him. And I really don't even follow him, but he says the true shit, the right shit. And this is what makes him angry. People like the nigga, excuse my language, people, label. This is why people that's like ignorant, like the person that keep on commenting on my stuff, saying stupid shit, ain't showing proof or nothing, but he want proof. Because I think you trying to learn something. You searching. It's okay not to know what I know. Just like I don't know what you know. We can share these things together and put our heads together and win. Do you want to win? I think you want to lose because you always debating and wondering, you ain't show proof of nothing that you talking about. Man, you don't know what you talking about. You don't even read. How do you even know me? You don't even know me. See? I could be saving your life. I could be saving you from going to jail for 20, 30 years. Because you want to be ignorant and want to know everything. I told you I don't claim to know everything. Now, back to the private side. When you doing private shit, if you're a private citizen, you do private shit. Guess what? Bill of exchange deals with the treasury people. You don't give that to nobody. You give copies, CC them of what you're doing. Right? You CC them of what you're doing. You do not just hand somebody because you think, no, it's procedures of doing that. My dog just had to walk his ass in here. Excuse me, people. What are you doing here? I'm doing something. But anyway, hey, listen. I will talk about bill of exchange later and give you a little more detail on it. Because like I say, it seemed like I haven't seen anybody talk about bill of exchange in this group yet. Maybe somebody may have, but I haven't seen it yet. Since I've talked about it, people been questioning me about it and like elaborate. I'm not going to elaborate until this time. It's private. I'd rather talk to you about this outside the group. Right? But again, I will come with laws. I can do that. I don't educate. I don't give steps. I don't do none of that. I educate on like what it is, what's the law say, stuff like that. I'm not going to educate you on steps unless you really want that for yourself. Okay, unless you really want that for yourself. I'm not selling nobody nothing. I'm not, what I mean is I'm not selling you on something. I'm giving you facts of how this shit works. You don't do no 1099As or OIDs. I'm going to continuously say that because you're pulling yourself into the public, people. You're pulling yourself back into the public. So if you found any paperwork talking about you're a private citizen with these people, these officials, they're going to say this person don't even know what the hell they doing. They don't even know what they're talking about. You're still messing with IRS forms. You got to be confused here, right? You got to be confused. But if you do a bill of exchange, they respect you. They say, oh, this man know how to handle his own affairs. And guess what? They benefit too. That's why they like it. I'm not going to give you no more information. I will talk to you about that later. So get what? I'm going to get off here, man. I just want to give you a little spiel about this public versus private in so much, so to speak, of an easier way of looking at things. I want to give a shorter version. I can go deep into it, but I just want to. It's already been a 30-minute video. Most of my videos be 30 minutes, so I just want to just kind of get my spiel on difference of public and private. You have to know what side you want to be on, people. You can't straddle the fence. Some call co-mingling, but you have to know what co-mingling is in your concept or process of what you're doing when you talk about co-mingling. Okay. Real quick before I leave, I think I gave a little spiel about co-mingling, what co-mingling is. But co-mingling means really, you on the private side, or say you on the private side and got yourself noticed as a private individual, and you fucking with 1099 OIDs. That's co-mingling. That's the true definition of co-mingling. Not you being a sole beneficiary of the all caps. That is not co-mingling. That means you benefit from the all caps name, just like they're benefiting off your all caps name. Recognize real. Chill.